everyone, here we are at the beautiful Circular Quays on another lovely Sydney day. We arrived yesterday and we had our fish and chips just over there. It was absolutely wonderful. There is our ship, the Explorer of the Seas. We're heading on to her about 12 o'clock today. We just love Sydney. Although we love the Manly ferries, we love the bridge, we love everything. Very, very busy in Sydney at the moment, so that's it. Off we go. Okay guys, we're back again. We've just walked around Circular Quays and we're now on the side of the Four Seasons Hotel, and you can see the beautiful Explorer of the Seas. You can see it on my right is the harbour bridge, and on my left is the Opera House and all the hotels over there. There's the Pullman Grand Circular Quay over there, but we can never go past the Four Seasons. We absolutely love that hotel. Sun is coming out. It's just a beautiful, beautiful day. People are arriving already. I don't know. We just had a whole heap of suitcases go past. And if Richard pans around, you can probably see a few more suitcases, but you can't do it. Trains are just over there. And I'm getting the wind-up signal. So that's it for now. See you soon. Okay, here we go again. Now we are closer and closer to the Explorer of the Seas. This is actually where you embark at the overseas passenger terminal. As you can see, hundreds of the thousands of people that are coming on board have already arrived. We've got a whole group of them sitting under the tree with their luggage just behind me.
Oh, yeah. So sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay, keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. Keep going. Yeah. Okay, and it's all part of the action, my babe. So we've got lots of people walking past it. Everyone's so excited to be getting on board this beautiful, beautiful ship, the Explorer of the Seas. Wow, the best thing about a sail away on the Explorer of the Seas is the passengers. They are awesome. They are such a fantastic mix of demographics, the ages. We've got schoolies, we've got families, we've got oldies, and look at it, they're embracing it. They're all out there, just like they were back in January 2017. This captain actually just did 3 horn salutes. We had 3 salutes of the horns. It was just awesome. We are looking now towards the Four Seasons saying farewell to Sydney, but there's a storm approaching, and guess what? Guess what? We're sailing into a storm. Nothing like what we had going across the ditch, hopefully, to New Zealand. But yeah, there's weather on the way, so stay safe, everybody in Sydney, because I know look at the ship is turning. Rich wanted to get the ship turning. Now he's seeing it's perfect positioning here. And yeah, so stay safe tomorrow. You're meant to get lots of rain and stuff. And look at this turn, isn't it awesome? Well positioned, Robert. Yeah? Yeah.
Perfect.
It's perfect. And this is a perfect cruise because these guys, the passengers, are going to make it a fantastic cruise. See you on the morrow. And guess what? That was the 4th horn salute. He is farewelling Sydney like you wouldn't believe. We've got planes overflying. We've got a roll cloud that I can see in the sky above the back of the antennas. It's definitely a front coming through. We're doing the whole circuit. This is the most fantastic footage we've ever got of leaving Sydney. Totally different perspective. So I hope you will all really enjoy this, because this is a one-in-a-lifetime memory of this one. This is absolutely spectacular. Look at the storm over the Opera House. Look, my babe, look at the storm over the Opera House. Look at all the people over the Opera House. And now we're heading towards the heads, and hopefully we're heading downstairs to a party in the promenade. See you in the bar. Crown and Kettle, actually.
As Katie was saying, we are making our way through the most beautiful Sydney harbour on our way to the heads, and taking in those most beautiful views of the city and its suburbs. You can see Russcutters Bay there, Double Bay and Rose Bay, and the most exclusive Vaucluse, where homes are around $6-7 million at least. We are on our way to New Caledonia and Vanuatu. Our first stop on our Lifou excursion took us to the vanilla bean farm, and they showed us the complete progress and told us why vanilla beans are so expensive. And one thing that I didn't know is that the plant is not native to New Caledonia and originally came from Mexico as an orchid. They take about 2 years to cultivate, from the pollination stage to the drying stage, and fetch around $1,000 per kilo when it's dried. The vanilla bean growing here in Lifou is their second income after tourism. The local tribe there invited us to what they call a tea party, where they cut open the vanilla bean and take out the seeds and infuse it into tea. And there's Katie just smelling the bean itself. We were not allowed to take it back to Australia, as the customs would not allow us to take it into the country. Anything to do with trees or wood or whatever, we were not allowed to bring it in, so we just left it on board. We had a short coach ride to Lifou rugged northern coast that brings you to the Cliffs of Jokin. It is part of the village and is owned by the tribal chief. The lady make that for you.
It's a tradition of the village that everyone wears a flower hat.
Lifou Island is the largest, most populous and most important of the Loyalty Islands. It is irregular in shape and is 81 kilometres long and 16 to 20 kilometres wide. Lifou is a former coral atoll that was part of a submerged volcano nearly 2 million years ago. Today there's still evidence of coral reefs and most stunning clear waters that brings out the colours of this most beautiful sapphire blue, green and turquoise. The locals had made palm leaf headbands for all the tourists visiting. They're made up of 3 palm leaves braided together. They serve absolutely no purpose, but they just look cool. And the tourist guide actually thought that Katie didn't have enough flowers in her headband, so he's put another few up. The cliffs are on a private and sacred village and houses these huts that belong to the chief and his family. Behind these huts we have the cliffs of Jokin that would drop off to the sea. And it's got most spectacular views of the limestone rock formations. To get to the bottom of the cliffs, we now have the task of walking down 200 steps down. But the dilemma is that we also have to have 200 steps going up. It's a very good exercise for today, I can tell you. We were warned that some of the steps are loose and crumbling, and in most parts there are no handrails. Lifou is made up of fossil coral, making it easy to see why snorkeling here is one of the best in the world. With pristine, clear waters, it's just absolutely amazing. And the other plus is that the coral reef is so close to the shore, so it's certainly a haven for snorkeling. There are numerous burial chambers of the tribe's bygone leaders, and some of those have actually got the names painted on the rock. Here the locals, they get quite excited when a cruise ship comes in, which is only sort of like every week or so, and show off their talents by jumping off the cliff into the water. And of course now we have the task of attacking those 200 steps up back to the beach. Arriving here by cruise ship is the best way to explore and experience the natural wonders of this most beautiful, beautiful coastal piece of haven. The most common port of call is Iso, where the ship just anchor just off the island and tender passengers ashore. Iso Beach is a lovely beach where turtles can be spotted almost all of the time. However, the beach is not recommended for snorkeling, as it is very, very windy at times. There are also open-air markets selling arts and craft, clothing and delicious food. And the tour guide also told us to buy their ever fresh coconuts that are prepared right in front of you. We have arrived here on the Isle of Pines. And who would you think discovered the Isle of Pines? Yes, of course it was Captain James Cook in 1774 on his second voyage to New Zealand. The Isle of Pines has no museum, but you can go and visit the Carved Totems near the St. Maurice beach. And they're surrounded by a monument commemorating the arrival of the Reverends Goujon and Jetelut in 1848. And going back to Captain James Cook, he gave the island its name after seeing that it had massive tall native pines, for which it is now famous. But Cook never actually set foot on the island, but noted that it was inhabited because he saw smoke. Today, nearly 140 years later, the island is less populated than previously, and now remains extremely protected by the tribal system. One of the rituals and daily activities that the locals and tribes do every day is to go out fishing. And they go fishing on these homemade rafts, which are made out of tree trunks that are hollowed out and then joined together by tree trunks and sticks and bits and pieces. We've been very lucky with the weather. It's been clear, and as you can see, the water is absolutely amazing. And yes, it's easy to see why the Isle of Pines is commonly referred to as the jewel of the Pacific. Its beauty is simply breathtaking. And the locals here are yet making another raft, two great big massive tree trunks that have been hollowed out. Just before they were trying to roll it over, oh, there we go again. And here's the, oh my goodness, I wouldn't do that. That's a bit dangerous, standing between those two logs. If it rolls over, goodbye legs. As you can see, they build things and do things the most primitive way by using sticks and bits and pieces of wood. And of course, they've got no bunnings, of course, there. No bunnings. So no machinery, just all by hand. Our next stop was to visit the large white and red Catholic church, which dominates the centre of Vila. It was built in 1960 by the island's convicts, and is still used on a daily basis by the island's many Christians. But being here on a Saturday, everything is closed, including the church. Being tendered again, it was a short boat ride to the famous Kuto Bay, where most of the yachts are moored, and also where the Batigo ferry arrives, which will take you back to Noumea. The bus brought us back, but decided to get off a little bit earlier and walk the esplanade with the two bays of Kuto and Kanumara, only about 200 metres apart. In Kanumara Bay there's a secret rock and the locals have asked us not to touch it. Here at Kanumara there are 15 hotels and some resorts, and just an absolute fabulous place to spend your holidays. The white sandy beaches are just absolutely spectacular, and the watercolour is just so vibrant and amazing. I've never seen those watercolours before. And after spending an absolute fabulous day here on the Isle of Pines, we're back on the ship now and we're off to Port Vila. Today another port, yet another excursion. Katie and myself have decided to do a calm water lagoon cruise, and we're also joined by Margaret and Cole, who are now our dining room buddies on the Explorer of the Seas, so it should be good fun. Today here at Port Vila we have booked a 2-hour tour on what they call the barge, which is a lagoon open air pontoon style vessel with Captain Morgan and his first mate Marie. The vessel can take 65 passengers and has seating capacity for 45. The lagoon is actually horseshoe shaped with one lagoon, the Aracore Lagoon, and on the other side the Ampton Lagoon. Those big homes that we can see, most are owned by the overseas investors, and some are private holiday homes. Most of the homes are vacant for most of the year, but still are maintained by the locals who perform housekeeping duties for a very, very low rate. They do the washing up and the cleaning and maintaining the gardens and do everything, and only get paid $10 a day. This is the Holiday Inn Resort, which was refurbished and reopened in June 2017. It boasts accommodation for 148 guests and with a variety of suites and unique overwater villas. They'll stay there for free when sharing with a parent, and 4 kids under 12 eat free any time of the day. You can enjoy the luxury of this resort 7 days in a beach villa with daily breakfast and a flight from Brisbane, all inclusive, for $1,360. This is the Ramada Resort, which was built in 2016 and opened in early 2017. There again, about $200 per night, twin share. There are quite a few holiday resorts, such as the Bel Air and Sunset Bungalows, Holiday Inn, of course, you know, and also the Ramada. And this is Arikor Island. It has its own resort. And there again, for about $200, twin share per night. And that's how the locals get around to do some fishing on their homemade rafts. It's quite amazing how they survive like that. Whenever there's a tour on the barge, the local kids actually come up to the barge and see whether you've got anything to spare. What they're actually waiting for is for us to throw something in the water, and that's exactly what Margaret did. She bought a few cans of Coke and threw them in the water, and Marie was saying that they will actually share the Coke around. After our Lagoon cruise, we were taken back by taxi van back to where the ship was docked. And there we found I actually counted about 150 stalls, local stalls, of people just selling all their local wares. Katie picked up some beautiful tropical dresses, about $15 each, and that was an absolute bargain. We are slowly making our way to Mystery Island to drop anchor. Mystery Island is a tiny uninhabited island in the Vanuatu province. It was officially chartered under the indigenous name Auyum, other than the airstrip built by the United States military personnel to serve the nearby island of Vanuatu. Vanuatu is the main island that actually serves Mystery Island. No one lives on the island and is considered taboo to do so. The locals actually come across from the main island on the days when our ships call into the island. Mystery Island only has a few huts for overnighters and also modern amenities for cruise passengers. And I was there a couple of years ago, and they've actually made some beautiful walking tracks through the middle of the island. The locals here speak 4 different languages, which is Bislama, English and French, and also their local, I think they call it Anion, which is the local language of Vanuatu. There's Katie just testing out the waters, getting her tootsies wet, and she told me that the water was so cold it was probably only about 26 degrees. We did manage to get a little swim in. Took us probably like 15 minutes to get under, but we did it. We didn't want to come all the way to Mystery Island and not have a swim. But the water temperatures here at home are about 32 degrees, so 26 is a bit cool. Katie told me that the captain had put over a message that we were going to travel via the Havana Passage on our way to Noumea, also known as the Havana Passage. The passage is between New Caledonia and the island of Vila. And should we want to see something spectacular, we have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. The sun rises very early in that part of the world, so we were able to see this most beautiful part of the world passing by. Absolutely spectacular, isn't it? Noumea also has the pine trees, because we're not really all that far from the Isle of Pines, which is only about 100 60 nautical miles just southeast from here. We are slowly making our way towards the city of Noumea. Noumea is the charming capital of New Caledonia. It has quite a few things to brag about. It's a third largest island on the South Pacific, and it's also home to the world's largest lagoon and second largest coral reef. The city lies on a protected deepwater harbour that serves as the chief port for New Caledonia. Noumea has the longest history of mining in the Pacific Islands. Nickel was found here in New Caledonia in 1864. Port facilities of Noumea, which namely receives cargo vessels, container ships and cruise liners, and also the private ports who are quays and are a hub for receiving shipments of nickel ore from mining sites, as well as imported mineral products, and for the loading site of ferro-nickel destined for Europe and Asia and the United States. This is the mining site that is in the heart of town and also in the Moselle Bay region. The Explorer of the Seas is actually docked right on the other side, and when we came in we had to do a 180-degree turn, a pivot turn, to be able to leave port tonight so that we can actually sail out instead of backing out. The first stop on our daily excursion here in Noumea was to go to the Noumea Cathedral, which is a Roman Catholic church and is dedicated to Saint Joseph. The cathedral is situated on elevation dominating the town centre of Noumea, and is built on artificial terraces constructed between 1876 and 1887. It was totally built by convict labour. The two towers, the buttresses and the surrounds of the doors and windows are in dressed stone, which is something typical for the buildings that were constructed by convicts, while all the other walls are made of rubble masonry mortared with lime. Originally it was also intended to add some spires to the top of the towers, but the idea was actually abandoned given the prevalence of cyclones in the area. The building contains 28 stained glass windows depicting the various saints and biblical figures, and all the timbers that you see there are from local timbers. With an altitude of 132 metres, we are here at the Quen Toro Hill, which dominates the south of Noumea. The esplanade offers a 360-degree view over the city and also the lagoon and the mountain foothills overlooking the Bay of Saint Marie. I also noticed a small island called Duck Island. It has a resort on it and I believe excellent for snorkeling. Also in our excursion they provided us with coffee and tea, and French cake at the La Bodega de la Mar Tapas Bar on the Promenade of Laroque, overlooking Uns Valley Bay. Katie and myself decided to go for a walk along the Promenade of Laroque, and a word of good advice that was given us: when you cross the road, don't turn right, you look left first, because all the cars are driving on the wrong side of the road. Lifou is a very casual type of restaurant. There are two restaurants there. The other one is called Port Bolondre. They're both on the pier. Lifou at the time wasn't open. It only opens from 11:30 to 2 p.m. for lunch, and then it closes and reopens at 6:30 to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. We have just realised that today is our last excursion and also our last day here in Vanuatu and New Caledonia. The bus is actually going to take us back in a few minutes to back to meet the explorer of the seas, and on our way back to, would you believe, Sydney, Australia. And yes, I'm letting the cat out of the bag again, same as what we did last time. And Katie has booked the Anthem of the Seas 14-night Italian Mediterranean cruise. Yes, he did it on board, and it's taking us from Southampton to Gibraltar, and then to France and Florence and Rome and Genoa and Malaga and Lisbon and back to Southampton. Wow, I hope she's got 2 tickets.
I've been to cities that never close down, from New York to Rio and old London town. But no matter how far or how wide I roam, I still call Australia home. Oh, I'm always traveling. I love being free, so I keep the sun and the sea, but my heart lies waiting over the foam. I still call Australia home. All the sons and daughters spinning around the world, away from their family and friends. As the world gets older and colder, it's good to know where your journey ends. Someday we'll all be together once more, when all of the ships come back to the shore. I realize something I've always known. I still call Australia home. good to know.